Okay, students, so we spent some time thinking about why we write essays, and we talked about how to construct an introduction. Today we're going to focus on body paragraphs. We use the roadmap image as the image to kind of remind ourselves of what the introduction's purpose is. I want you to think of a heart and the heartbeat of your essay for the body paragraphs. Your heart is the most important organ. Without your heart pumping the blood through your veins, you don't live. So without your body paragraphs pumping those ideas through your essay is not going to come alive. It's not going to present your ideas. So the body paragraphs, and usually there are at least three, are the most important paragraphs that you will write. It is through those words and sentences in your body paragraph that you are going to skillfully construct and present your ideas about the thesis. The body paragraphs must consistently, which means all of the time, use sentences to create critical thinking. So what we're trying to read in your, or what we're hoping, I should say, to read in your body paragraphs are your ideas about what we've read in class and the thesis that you want to prove. So remember, your critical thinking is your analysis, your inferences, your explanations and interpretations for what, for how you are going to prove your thesis. The body paragraphs have to consistently use textual evidence. Remember, the goal is to show your reading comprehension of the text, your critical reading of the text. So you have to choose scenes from the short story, the play, the novel, the poem, moments from those pieces, whatever literature you're analyzing through your essay, that proves that your thesis is right, that clearly shows your reader of the essay what you are trying to prove, which is your thesis. So when you pick your textual evidence in your body paragraphs, you want to make sure that you're spending time picking the best evidence. So there's a formula for the body paragraphs, and so you're always going to start with your critical thinking. You are going to start with your own idea, okay, about the text. Then you're going to add textual evidence to that idea. And then you're going to analyze that textual evidence again. So it goes critical thinking plus evidence and then back to critical thinking. Your first sentence of the body paragraph is going to be your topic sentence. It refers or references the theme and the first claim that supports the theme. So your claims, those 3 reasons why your thesis is valid, each of those will become a topic sentence. And this is a challenge. You have to start with a topic sentence. You're not going to start with a quote. You're not going to start with a question in your body paragraph. You're going to start with a clear topic sentence, and from that topic sentence I should know exactly what your theme is and which claim supports that theme. After your critical thinking or your topic sentence, you're going to present your first piece of textual evidence. That piece of evidence can be in the form of a citation, which, if you remember, is the author's words exactly how it appears in the text, or you can choose to paraphrase the example. Now, rule of thumb is you will have 2 pieces of textual evidence and in each body paragraph, and you will analyze each of those pieces of textual evidence following that pattern. Critical thinking, textual evidence, critical thinking, textual evidence, critical thinking. So you never end a body paragraph on textual evidence. You will end your body paragraphs on your own ideas. Please make sure that your textual evidence, it must be relevant to the thesis. You really want to word your evidence and choose citations that really reveal what you're trying to prove. You also have to be sure that you give a clear context. You don't want to over summarize, but you want to give us enough information so that you're showing versus telling, and that you really have read. And you want to write your textual evidence assuming that the person reading your essay has never read the short story or the play or the poem or the novel that you're talking about, but even though they haven't read it, they can still understand what you're arguing. Crucial and critical is that your textual evidence must be accurate and factual. One of the worst mistakes a student can make is having inaccurate textual evidence, because again, you're not showing strong reading comprehension, which is one of the objectives that we want to assess. So please make sure that what you're saying actually happened in the exact way that you're explaining it. If you're using a citation, you have to cite it properly. Format matters. So after you have your first piece of textual evidence, you are going to analyze. And here, this is the most important sentences of your body paragraph and of your essay in general. Because when you think about it, everyone is going to be talking about the same piece of literature, right? Your critical thinking analysis is going to separate your essay from everyone else's. This is where you really get to kind of stand out, and through strong writing skills, every student hopefully will show that they can infer, interpret, explain, and assert. If you do all of these actions within the body of your essay, you're analyzing. Okay, so what are you inferring? You're inferring how and why the textual evidence proves the thesis. You're interpreting how and why the textual evidence proves your thesis. You are clearly explaining now and asserting. Now, you're not doing all four of these actions all of the time. You're going to, and they kind of all mean the same thing. So remember, when we infer, we're going to make judgments and criticisms about the character's actions. So the character behaving this way proves your thesis because you might interpret why an author used a particular symbol. Maybe that symbol really helps us to see your thesis, to understand the message about family or the message about power. Maybe you're going to explain why the author chooses to have the character behave in a certain way so that we can see the message about family or about power. Okay, so explaining how and why, those are your ideas and the most crucial part of your essay. Your critical thinking must be clear and concise. So you don't want to use too many words. You don't want to use banned words. You want to avoid words thing, everything, something, anytime. You want to be as specific as you can with the fewest number of words. So being concise is important. Sometimes students think they have to write a lot, and then it's hard to really figure out what it is they're trying to say. So always be specific. And the best advice I could give you to start off is to avoid what we call cliches. Sometimes we think cliches like, a picture is worth 1,000 words will help your reader, but really it shows that you haven't really thought what you're trying to say through, and you're kind of taking the easy way out and using a statement that's been used too many times before. So you really want to be original when you write, especially when you're expressing critical thinking. Okay, guys, I know this is a process. This is a learning process. We were going to practice this quite often, and eventually you guys will become experts. If you have any questions about what you just watched, please post them in the Google Classroom so I can answer them for everyone. We're getting to the point where some of these terms should become second nature for you. So I'm hoping that by now you understand what critical thinking is, you understand what textual evidence is, you understand that there's a pattern when you write your body paragraphs. We start with critical thinking, we support that critical thinking with textual evidence, then we analyze that evidence. So you never end a body paragraph on evidence. You end it on your own thoughtful, valid, relevant ideas. Okay, guys, great job. I hope you wrote down some facts so that you can get your easy completion points.